Hey guys, welcome back to another movie review. I know, I know. I said I wasn't gonna watch it. I said it. I said I wasn't gonna watch it, but you can thank my cousins. Those were the people who dragged me out to see Ghostbusters Afterlife. Something that I said on my channel that I was not gonna watch because I had no interest in seeing it, but I saw it today, and I guess I might as well just do a review for it. Um, Now, the reason why I didn't want to see this new Ghostbusters movie is because I knew what I was going to get into. I knew how it would feel when I came out of it, and I wasn't expecting anything special per se. Um, and just to set the stage right, I'm not a big Ghostbusters fan. I never really found the original to be anything super special. I haven't seen Ghostbusters 2, so I don't know what happens there. And luckily, according to some people, uh, I have not seen the 2016 reboot, so my knowledge of Ghostbusters comes from just just all the internet talk of Ghostbusters, the cultural phenomenon that is Ghostbusters, and my knowledge from the original movie. So, um, so going into this, again, I have notes, just letting you know. So going into this, only knowing the original movie and just just being a casual fan, I would say. Um, what I was expecting this movie to do based off the trailers was to try to be like a revitalization of the Ghostbusters brand, even though it never really needed that. I mean, its cultural impact is huge. It had a movie like 4 or 5 years ago, so the franchise has never been dead. Um, so I don't know. I knew that this movie was going to act like that, and it never really needed to be needed to act that way. But I knew nonetheless that that's how the movie was going to at least that was going to be the attitude of this movie. And in some respects, walking out of it, I got what I expected. At least I got pretty much what I thought the movie was going to be. And then I ran into a few issues, and we'll get there in a little bit. But um, in terms of stuff that I found to be like I would say tolerable, stuff that I found to be okay. I found the cast, not the characters, the cast to be fine. McKenna Grace I thought was the standout. I thought her behavior and her attitude was welcoming. I thought it made for a decent lead because she's the lead of the film. I thought she did a decent job. Being the lead character, I thought she did a decent job. She was appealing at certain points. Performance wise, I would say she was appealing. I also found that the score was had a nice balance in between nostalgia, which we'll talk more about in a little bit, and being real fitting to the film at large. Um, so I found those elements to be fine. And beyond that, that's where we start to get into trouble. That's where we start to see a lot of the issues that this film has. And the first issue came the first real red flag of the movie is excessive use of humor. I know the original was a comedy, and I didn't really find the humor in the original Ghostbusters to be that funny. But the thing I can say about the original is that it didn't try too hard to make you laugh. It wasn't like doing fart jokes or anything like that. Not saying that this movie does that, but the original didn't try to really get you to laugh real hard. Like it didn't force you. It was like trying to grab you by the throat and say like you have to laugh right now. It was just it was just being playful in a way where it was like it came across natural and it didn't feel like it wasn't forcing itself on the viewer. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Um, Here it almost felt like Jason Reitman and the ensemble just watched only what Bill Murray did in that movie and tried to like only play on those types of antics because every character is like trying to be this offbeat, trying to do this offbeat type humor, um, which I remember Bill Murray having in the original Ghostbusters. I don't remember every Ghostbuster having that type of humor. Um, they had playful interactions that created certain humor, but Bill Murray was the one was known for the offbeat humor in that movie. So it's like Jason Reitman and the crew just only thought about Bill Murray. Um, so um, and because of that, because of the just the the everyone focusing on that type of humor, you get characters that all act very familiar, very similar to each other, and they lack a lot of distinction, beyond their one dimensions. One's a nerd, one's a typical teenager, one's a deadbeat mother. They can't get past that. Um, Particularly with Finn Wolfhard. I think he was trying really hard to be the Bill Murray of the group. I mean, everyone was trying to be Bill Murray, but Finn Wolfhard was being the most obvious, in my opinion. Um, and I felt that it fell flat. It fell flat. I never found the humor in general in the film to be funny. Like in Afterlife, I just never found it to be that funny. In the original Ghostbusters, I can see some stuff being funny, and I chuckled a few times. But here in Afterlife, I just didn't think the humor really worked. Um, and speaking more on the characters and their circumstances, um, to me, this is a bigger issue. I found their purposes in the story to be all too convenient and in some points contradicting. Like, we're gonna get into some spoilers here, so spoilers if you've not seen the movie. I mean, there's not really a whole lot to spoil. Um, it's the ending. We'll get into is spoiler material, but it's been known for a while about this certain element. So, but spoilers ahead if you don't want spoilers. Um, so McKenna Grace's character is meant to be like this super genius, right? Like she's meant to be this nerd of sorts. That she's super smart and she's smarter than all the other kids and stuff like that. Typical thing. But yet she'll aimlessly follow Harold Ramis's spirit and to a basement to where she finds, surprise surprise, the Ghostbusters gear. So that's what I mean when it's like it's convenient but also contradicting, because McKenna Grace is meant to be this really smart kid, but yet she'll just aimlessly just, oh, okay, I'll go follow the spirit. Forget logic, forget, hey, there's weird things going on. Like she never like they're playing chess at one point, Harold Ramis and McKenna Grace, and she never reacts to this. Like when the pieces float up, she never like reacts. Like she's okay with it, like which is extremely weird because anybody in that circumstance would like yell or scream or be really, really frightened by that. Not McKenna Grace. She's just completely fine with it. It's like, hey, it's normal. Um, I don't know. Her reactions to the Harold Ramis element I thought were very weird, and I felt again very convenient because if she didn't react the way she did, we wouldn't have gotten her to go to the basement to find the Ghostbusters gear. That's what I mean. But it contradicts her character. Um, and then we have like Finn Wolfhard's character who crushes on a girl at work, which by the way, weird thing. I know that they're trying to aim for a different generation with this Ghostbusters movie. We had the original Ghostbusters, which was pretty much just an all, male cast. 2016 Ghostbusters, which was an all female cast, and now we're hitting a younger demographic with an all young Ghostbusters team. Um, can you make it a little less obvious as to who's playing who? Like like Finn Wolfhard is obviously Bill Murray. McKenna Grace is obviously Harold Ramis. The black girl is obviously, you guessed it, Ernie Hudson, and that journalist person is obviously Dan Aykroyd. So I wish they wouldn't have made it so obvious who's trying to be who, because it was very obvious. Like they were like shouting it at your face, like, hey, this guy's supposed to be this guy, you know. Um, so that was just one thing. I just found it really weird. Um, and getting back to Finn Wolfhard's character though, like she crushes on the black girl at work, and who was trying to be, the black girl's trying to be Ernie Hudson's character. Um, and they go off to this mountaintop with complete strangers, by the way, or at least to Finn Wolfhard, it's complete strangers. And what do they find? Surprise, surprise, the ghost and the villains of the film. So you know what I mean? It's like the characters can't exist or function without their conveniences. You know, that to me is a huge issue, which leads to really my overall issue with Ghostbusters Afterlife, which is its concept, which I found to have been not well conceived and not really well thought out. Um, because the movie is pitched and acts like it's Ghostbusters 3. Um, and it takes many cues from The Force Awakens, where it's acting like the franchise has been dead for many years, even though that's not true. It's like been 4 or 5 years since we've seen a Ghostbusters film, um, and it's like the long-awaited continuation of the original story. Um, that's what this movie thinks it is, and from its multiple callbacks to its bathing in nostalgia, which can be at times a bit excessive. Um, and that's not what this is at all. I mean, it's not that. This is not Ghostbusters 3. Okay, this is not Ghostbusters 3. What this is a standalone story that just happens to exist in the same universe as the same Ghostbusters. That's what Ghostbusters Afterlife is. It is not Ghostbusters 3. Um, but unfortunately, the film believes that it is Ghostbusters 3. Um, and the mindset this movie has is very problematic because it gets in the way of what the true story of the film is. Because as it's structured and tonally crafted, all you really care about at the end of the day when watching Ghostbusters Afterlife is seeing the original Ghostbusters. That's all you care about. You don't care about the characters because the characters that we follow with throughout this whole journey, they almost come across as just items, to get to a certain point in the film, um, and not actual defined or well-rounded people. They're just pieces to fill in the runtime, essentially. And that really did the story it was trying to tell dirty, like really dirty, um, because um, because like I said, all you care about is seeing the original Ghostbusters, and that's all the film really cares about. Because once they show up, again, that's not a spoiler. It's been known for months. Okay, we've known this for months that they were coming back. Once they came back, once we actually saw them, it actually completely undermines the importance and the significance of what we just spent 2 hours watching. Um, like it, if all the film wanted to do was to see the original Ghostbusters back together, then why don't you just, oh, I don't know, make an actual Ghostbusters 3, with the original cast. I mean, you have the cast, you have the technology. Um, I mean, you can't tell me it couldn't have been done, especially when you see the last few minutes of the film. It's totally possible. There's a story there that could have been told, and they chose to do something that just really undermined itself, oddly enough. Um, Another issue with it is the pacing. The pacing at times can be very spotty, which I thought also did disservice to the development of the characters. Because it feels like at times we're jumping around. Like we'll go to Paul Rudd over here, and then we'll go back to Mechanic Grace, and then we'll go to Finn Wolfhard, and then we'll go back to Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd's character. Like it just feels like we're jumping around a lot of times. There's not a lot of consistency, to where you could have a more rooted connection with what you're watching. It makes the movie feel more standard and less impactful, emotionally speaking. So yeah, so as it stands, I mean, it has some likable performances. It has an appealing score, but at the end of the day, Ghostbusters Afterlife, unfortunately, in my opinion, really undermines its own story and characters in favor of nostalgia bath, bad judgment and concept, and lots of tons of conveniences, to move its story along. And to be clear, it had great intentions from Jason Reitman, and it has a nice tribute to Harold Ramis, but I think it sadly misses its mark. Like, um, it's also painfully predictable. Like, I walked out of the theater to go to the bathroom, and I came back and I didn't miss anything. nothing important really happens in the movie. It just kind of goes through the motions in some respects, which is upsetting to say for Ghostbusters Afterlife. Um, it makes you want to watch the original, but for, bad reasons, you know, so you can watch something better. Not because it's like, oh man, let me watch the original Ghostbusters again. It's more like, you know what? Let me go watch Ghostbusters. The original Ghostbusters. Not it's not in a good way. Um, because at the end of the day, what you're watching is something that acts way too familiar for it to be anything distinct or fresh for this franchise. Um, I really didn't like the way that they approached this movie. I thought it was poorly judged, and I didn't think it was right. I just didn't feel like it was. I just felt like it didn't. I don't know. What am I trying to say? Um, I just felt like it didn't do justice for the original cast or for the new cast that we were following. It just felt odd in structure and in presentation. So um, it's a very by the numbers film as well. Like, you don't have to watch the original Ghostbusters to try to figure out what Afterlife is about. It's pretty easy to follow. Like I said, pretty predictable. Um, at times, it kind of reminds me of Goosebumps and Scooby Doo. Also, like, it doesn't really stay true at points to the original Ghostbusters, which I like. I like that it tries to do something different, but it comes off a little bit more uh, uh, kid, too kid friendly for me. And again, that's probably because we're following a younger cast, which I already have problems with to begin with. Um, like it's either young or different gender these days. It can't be the original cast for some reason. Which again, I think should have been what we did done in the first place. Just do the Ghostbusters 3. I know we've been trying to do that for years, but Jason Reitman was able to get these three together again. I think it's possible. I think you could have done a Ghostbusters 3, and I just feel Afterlife just kind of drives that point home. Because Afterlife pretty much what it told me was that Ghostbusters 3 was possible. It was a possibility. We could have made Ghostbusters 3, but unfortunately, we chose to do a film that's having a bit of an identity crisis. It wants to do this, but it's actually this. Like it doesn't really know what it is. It thinks it's Ghostbusters 3, but it's really not that movie. It's not a sequel to Ghostbusters, guys. Do not walk into this movie thinking it's a sequel to Ghostbusters, because you're gonna be really disappointed. Just think of this as a standalone film that just so happens to have the original, that just so happens to exist in the same universe. That's it. That's all this is. And I just wish the film recognized that, because once the original Ghostbusters come back, it just completely undermines everything. It makes the 2 hours that we just saw, it makes the 2 hours of watching these characters rather worthless. So it was kind of pointless in some respects, because like I don't know, like we really could have done a different movie, and I think that it had good intentions, but also some really bad intentions at the same time. So yeah, it's not a terrible movie. I mean, in terms of removing that last act of when the Ghostbusters actually show up, it's a okay movie. But once the Ghostbusters show up, everything becomes undermined, and you feel like you just kind of wasted your time in some respects. And I wish that the film didn't make us feel that way. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Ghostbusters Afterlife. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. What did you guys think of Ghostbusters Afterlife? Did you guys like it? Did you guys not like it? Do you guys think we'll get another Ghostbusters down the line, aka Ghostbusters 3? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. And that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm going to go get a drink of water because my throat's getting dry. And also, happy Thanksgiving. I know this video is going to come out after Thanksgiving, but hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. And my next video, I'm not sure what it will be, but maybe another review of sorts. Who knows? But yeah, that's it for this review, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. and have a happy holidays, guys.